Hey guys, hope you're doing good. Today we're going to be making another soup. We're going to be doing a Thai chicken and coconut soup. I love Thai food. I love the sweetness and the saltiness and the richness that kind of is all combined, especially in coconut soup. So here we go.
So here are the ingredients we're going to be needing. This is only going to make enough for 2 people, so feel free to double the recipe if you need to. But I have about 8 ounces of chicken. I have some shallots, a little bit of vegetable oil. We're going to be using chicken broth, regular coconut milk, some fish sauce, a little bit of sugar, some sliced mushrooms, lime juice, red curry paste, and then a little cilantro for garnish.
Okay, so we're going to start with the chicken. Now, chicken, you need to be careful with chicken because it has the possibility of having salmonella. And if you don't handle it correctly and if you don't cook it properly, you could get people sick. So I'm very cautious when I deal with my chicken. So first of all, I am going to be adding a little salt and pepper for seasoning to the chicken breast. And just going to spread it on all over the top, and the pepper, and then I'm going to go ahead and use a fork because I don't want to have to wash my hands too often. And then I'm going to go ahead and salt and pepper this side of the chicken. So whenever you're dealing with raw meat, especially raw poultry, anything that touches the bird then has the possibility of having salmonella on it. And if you touch that to other areas of your kitchen, that's called cross-contamination. So you really want to be cautious with your chicken. One thing that has been changed, one rule that they have changed recently is that people used to always rinse their chicken. The new rule is not to rinse the chicken, and the reason being is rinsing it isn't going to rinse away the salmonella. But what it is going to do is typically when the water from your faucet hits your chicken, it splatters. And then it's going to splatter salmonella elsewhere into your kitchen. So don't rinse your chicken. Just go ahead and pat it dry with a paper towel if it's moist before you go ahead and season it with your salt and pepper. Okay, so while the chicken is kind of marinating in that salt and pepper, I'm going to go ahead and mince my shallot. A shallot is a type of onion, and so I'm going to cut it like I cut other onions. I'm going to cut off the end, and then I'm going to cut it in half, and then the outside layer should peel off relatively easy. And then do the other side. Luckily, well, not luckily, it doesn't really matter either way, but I actually purchased my mushrooms already sliced. They could probably be a little bit thinner, so I may go through and check those to make sure that, that they're thin enough. So I'm going to go ahead and mince my shallot. Using the claw method with this hand, keeping my fingers out of the way, and the pinch grip method, holding my knife, and I'm rock chopping. If you find that there are some pieces that are a little bigger, you can cross chop a little bit more. You want them a little smaller. Making me cry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put those off to the side for now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and slice my lime because I need some lime juice. And I'm just going to leave my mushrooms as is. Okay, first we're going to start by searing the chicken. So in my pot, I've got it over medium-high heat. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of vegetable oil. And I'm going to let that heat up really nicely before I add my chicken. And that's nice and hot because the pan was already hot. So a good way to check to see if your oil is hot enough is to get a little bit of water on your hand and then fling it in. You hear that sizzling. That oil is popping because of that water. So I know that that oil is nice and hot. So I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken. And I'm going to sear it for about 2 minutes on each side. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and flip the piece of the chicken over. And cook it for another 2 minutes. Okay, so while I know that this chicken is not cooked through, that's okay because we're going to finish cooking it when we boil the soup. So I'm just going to transfer this to a plate for now. And in this pan with this oil, I'm going to go ahead and add my shallots. I'm going to go ahead and saute these until they become a little bit translucent for a couple minutes. Scraping off any little bits of chicken that might have stuck to the bottom of my pan and mixing them with the shallots. That fat's going to add nice flavor to the soup. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes and the shallots have definitely softened. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. And I'm going to add 1 cup of the coconut milk. And then to this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar and 1 teaspoon of fish sauce. And give that a little stir. Try to scrape off any of those brown bits on the bottom of the pan. Be careful because some pots, the handles get warm, like this one. The handles get pretty hot, so try not to touch those unless you have an oven mitt on. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my chicken back to the pot and any juices that may have leached out onto my plate, and I'm going to finish cooking the chicken. Now I want that chicken to get to 160 degrees, but I'm going to let it boil for about 10 minutes. While my soup is simmering and I'm finishing cooking off the chicken, I'm going to go ahead and mix together the red curry paste and lime juice and some more of that fish sauce. So I need a tablespoon of lime juice. So and I need 1 teaspoon of the red curry paste. And I need 2 more teaspoons of the fish sauce. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to whisk these ingredients together until they're nice and smooth so that it blends nicely when I add it into the soup. So these mushrooms are a little thick, so I thought I'd go ahead and slice them into thinner pieces so that the mouthfeel of the soup is more of a traditional Thai soup. Okay, so the chicken has fully cooked, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the pan, and I'm just going to stick it right onto my cutting board. Okay, now I'm going to proceed to shred this chicken just using 2 forks. So you just take one fork and kind of hold it in, and then with the other fork, you kind of pull it, and it just shreds really nicely. Okay, so I've completely shredded my chicken. I'm going to now add my mushrooms. The recipe also calls for snow peas, but I didn't have snow peas and I didn't feel like going to the store, so I'm just going to have mushrooms in mine. And I'm going to go ahead and let that cook until the mushrooms soften. Should only take about 2 more minutes. Okay, so to my simmering soup. I've had this simmering for about 2.5 minutes with the mushrooms in there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my red curry paste, fish sauce, and lime juice mixture. I'm going to give it a quick stir, and then I'm going to add my chicken back. And I'm just going to let this heat through for another 2 minutes. You can see how the addition of the green snap peas would look really beautiful in this soup. It would add a nice green color to it. But since I don't have those, I'm not going to add them. You could add other vegetables if you wanted, maybe some sliced broccoli or maybe some thinly sliced carrots. When you cook the mushrooms, I would add those to it at that point as well. But this is what we've got today. So when you're all done, go ahead and plate it up and top it with a little bit of green cilantro to add a little color and a little flavor, and enjoy your soup. And don't forget to clean off all of your counters and surface areas with an antibacterial to make sure you don't have any cross-contamination of that salmonella from your chicken. Enjoy.